am looking forward to not working. At the end, on your, you said not to say it.
Loading, straight for the lyrics like I'm bowling. Keep pushing on, keep rolling. And I wanna listen, but I told him one more time. Your favorite MCs, guns or silver. These raps here are golden. Cards on the table, there's no folding. Spit bars at the club, zoning. TikTok comes along, I get ripped off. Man get pissed off when I start lift off. Sweet like flavors, cookie and biscuit. Round here, yeah, the bars I get ripped off. Picked up my song, yo, every time I tripped up. Little petty kid with the big up. Me and my G's do everything mix up. Full circle, that everybody linked up. That's irrelevant, memory like an elephant. Keep it hard, but you know that it's elegant. Get mad, but always benevolent. Always moving up, just leveling. Constantly telling them rhyming, bridging. Cycle through these streets, I'm pedaling. Hibernating and boom, she's back again. Oh, cause a little fire on the track again. Turn the music up, vibe like an icon. Yeah, if you want buff, you can go psycho. Head to head, bar to bar, turn a mic on. Turn the music up, vibe like an icon. Yeah, I don't mind, I'll do it for the hell of it, yeah. Elevate bars, I regulate, yeah. UK, we love the tune, just meditate. If it didn't get it by now, then it kinda late. Man thinks he's a bad man, but he's kinda bait. Live every day like it's my last, celebrate. Mind on the task, we calibrate. Loaded, strike to the lyrics like I'm bowling. Keep pushing on, keep rolling. Didn't wanna listen, but I told him. One more time, your favorite MCs, bonds or super. Too bad, these vibes here are golden. Cards on the table, there's no folding. Spit more than I can't zoning. That's irrelevant, memory like an elephant. Keep it hard, but you know that it's elegant. Get mad, but always benevolent. Always moving up, just leveling. Constantly telling them rhyming, breathing. Cycle through these streets, I'm pedaling. Hibernating them boom, she's back again. Oh, cause a little fire on the track again. Turn the music on, vibe like an icon.
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to the Ace Podcast Nation presents the Cardiff City Fan Show live from the Rummer Tavern, and we're here to talk all things Cardiff City. If you're a little bit of housekeeping, just as we wait for some latecomers to arrive on the online version, you should be here in the pub with us, but you're not, so watch it online, I suppose. But there's still, amazingly, a couple of tickets left for the Andy Campbell evening this Friday. It's Andy Campbell week, and there's still a couple of tickets left. I'm not sure exactly how many, not many, but a few. So there's QR codes by there, where is it? There.
Over there, back.
There, QR code, click that. £5 bargain, spend an evening with a Cardiff City legend here at the Rummer Tavern. And of course, we're here every Monday at the Rummer Tavern, talking all things Cardiff City with the people. And first up this evening, they're thrilled to be here, as you can see by their smiling faces. Delighted to say, first of all, we've got Rob Boyle over there. We got, yes, come on. And we got Matthew Angel. Yes, mate. Yes, Angel. Come on. Angel. So we're going to talk all things Cardiff City, and I think the best place to start is the seven-side derby at the weekend. It wasn't close, and Nigel Pearson is done. See you later, mate. He had a bad afternoon. Because I didn't think Bristol were particularly great. I didn't think Cardiff were particularly great at times. I thought the first 5 or 10 minutes we looked a bit wayward, should we say? But I thought we got going eventually. And again, Psyopis is the man, Matt, isn't he? He's just quality.
The engine he got is incredible. It just doesn't stop. And even when he does stop, or if he loses the ball, he works so hard to get it back. And I just think that energy is feeding off on other people as well.
Yeah, he's definitely bringing the best out of Joe Rolls. Like, I think Joe Rolls is playing his best football probably for a couple of years.
Yeah.
At least the last 18 months.
Class.
Perry NG is my hero, mate. I tell you, like, Perry NG is like everything you want from a footballer at your club for me. Like, he works hard. He is just committed to everything. But also, I said last week that he's real quality and he can play like a number of different positions across the back, but also he can play different roles in the fullback. And I think I'm worried he's going to go. I said last week, I'm very worried in the summer that someone's going to go for him and McGuinness, because I just think that the trend of defenders and football at the moment is fullbacks like pushing into midfield, and Jamari Collins does it well as well.
Fullback,
inverted fullbacks and centre backs who can not just be good positionally, defensively, but are very good on the ball. And Matt McGuinness and Perry NG tick those boxes, and they're such a good, like, real good ages as well for like teams.
Would you say right back's NG's best position then?
Yeah, I think so. Unless he always looks pretty good in like he always does alright at centre back.
Yeah.
My worry is, and I said this on in a couple of the City groups over the weekend. My worry is like if Gutas or if any of the back four get injured, we're like looking a bit ropey. Like I think Romeo there, and you could push NG over.
We got that Panzo. I know he played it. He was a bit ropey. I think he had in the cup game, didn't he?
Against Blackburn.
In fairness, what do you expect?
It's hard.
Gutas and McGuinness have been solid in fairness, and you can't really chop and change that for.
Nah, not in the slightest. Gutas is a fucking Greek god, mate.
Yeah, he's awesome, mate.
God. I got a massive man crushing that bastard because he's just fucking phenomenal.
It took me a couple of games, I think, to warm up to him, but I think
you can see his talent.
In fairness to Gutas, right, though, like I thought he looked a bit ropey, as if he was struggling with the championship for the first couple of games.
Yeah,
but then when they switched him and McGuinness round, like, and swapped sides, it seemed to really help him. And some defenders are like that. Like they can play two-footed, but like it's just they're stronger on our side. And it's made like such a difference to him. But you've got to give the manager credit, because that's easily something which could get overlooked. Just just play centre back or whatever. This is the side you're going to play. So it's just those little tweaks. And I think the manager deserves credit, because I thought his substitutions were pretty spot on Saturday.
Bang on, man. You're bang on, man.
Because I thought Robinson done. I thought he did all right. I thought there was times where he looked a bit frustrated, and I thought it was the right time to bring him off and give Ruben Corwell a good half hour. Like Ruben Corwell, come on there with an hour.
I don't think he wanted to come off by Robinson.
No, he wasn't happy, was he? He wasn't happy.
And walking off to me.
I said a few people said like he.
That's what I would want as well.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want my players just running to the touchline.
Getting all the big clap.
Yeah.
It's off on the touchline.
But
don't want him to be happy, do you? Come off and that. And I think, look, I don't think Robertson played badly, but I thought out of the three which play off the striker, I thought he was probably the one who needed changing at that point. And I thought, Ruben Corwell, it was good to see him get half hour. I think you could see the first 10 minutes he was trying hard, but he was a bit all over the place. I thought he did settle after that, and I thought he played pretty well. I know, like, some people think because he scored a goal, and he was a very, very good goal, by the way, but like because of that, people were sort of like, he's got to start now. I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but I wouldn't be disappointed if he was in the starting lineup in the next game, because one, I think the goal will give him confidence. Two, we all know that he's capable of things like that. But it's so difficult to do it in like 5-10 minutes at the end of a game, especially if you need a goal or whatever. Like my example is always with him. The Sunderland away game, he created, I think, 3 chances right at the end. We should have scored them as well. They were like clear-cut chances, and it's like what more can you expect from him in a very small window away from home in a massive game which is very tight. And the same in the EFL Cup. When he started, he got goals and assists. He's done all right with the time he's got. Unfortunately, when he's had time in the league, other than the Sunderland game and the goal on Saturday, perhaps he hasn't had the same impact. But sometimes he's been wide as well. So it's like you've got to get him in the right.
Like I said, it's always hard to have that impact if you're only coming on for 5 or 10 minutes. And like you said, when he came on Saturday, the first 5 or 10 minutes, he's a little bit shaky, perhaps, and perhaps trying too hard, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a fair.
But took his goal. He was outstanding. I don't think anybody in the ground expected him to cut back in and beat the two defenders. And
well, I think even the Bristol players thought he was going to just take it into the corner, and it was clever. I like the way he got through him, and then
just couldn't believe the power he got behind the shot.
And this is it, isn't it? Now
He's
got that quality. When you've got that quality, it's about right. We need to. How do we get? What's the best way to get that quality out of him on a consistent basis? And I think it does come back to what we've said previous shows. Like, he needs to play. He needs to play regularly so he understands the position and what the manager wants from him and stuff like that. But unfortunately, being realistic, Ramsey's going to be first choice in that position, and it looks like they prefer Robinson in that position, at least at the moment. You know, if Ruben Colwell kicks on from that goal, and he's got to make the most of what he's got, I suppose. I would still loan him in January, but you got to go where you've got to go.
So have the recall option in there then, no?
Yeah, definitely. And it all depends on what business they do, I think, in January. In terms of the overall season, like, how do you guys feel about the new manager, the players he's brought in, the team he's built? Like, what's been the biggest difference, do you think? Rob, you go first, mate.
I think that the biggest difference he brought in is, that's going to sound cliche, but it's the confidence side of things. Like, I got, you kind of have to think that he's working with these boys on the pitch on a day-to-day basis and building their confidence and literally telling them, explaining to them, you are good enough to do these sort of things. But maybe it's a double-edged sword, but the boys he's clearly working on a fitness level, because the boys have never looked fitter. However, what I would say to that then is, you look how knackered they were prior to the internationals, and that's like, part of me's thinking, is he pushing that fitness too hard? And are they not ready for the sort of fitness levels that he expects from them?
He doesn't change the teams up too much either, does he?
No, the start.
And I don't disagree with the fact that they kept the same team against Bristol, and it obviously worked. Johnny, we come away 3 points and in a 7-day derby, which is fucking brilliant, which is what we all want. But I don't think that. I don't mean one so negative and that, but
moan.
You wouldn't be a Cardiff fan if you didn't have any negativity.
No, but like, I just think that leading up to the international break, we were, pardon my language, they were fucked. They were knackered. They were absolutely shattered. And I just think that we need to take that into account, because not to bring those scumbags into account, but Bielsa was renowned for running his Leeds players into the ground on the fitness scenario. So I just don't want us to go down that route, basically, is what I'm saying there.
But I suppose this is why you need the likes of Colwell, Robinson, use the squad. But at the start of the season, maybe there's an argument to say that Colwell, Robinson, Atete, maybe those 3 particularly, weren't quite at it, whether that's in training, whether that's when they were coming on. Whereas if you look at the last sort of, say, 6 weeks as a bubble, Atete scored 3 and 4 before he got injured. Robinson's, grabbed a couple of goals, playing well. Colwell's grabbed a goal. So maybe that squad can come into play a bit more now. I would like to see sometimes, like for instance, Jamalu Collins, I worry about fitness-wise, because he was out for such a long time. Yeah. But he never comes off, and he plays every week. So it just becomes like an onslaught of like, when's his body going to give out? Not necessarily like a serious injury, just muscular and exhaustion, basically.
Mentally give out.
The one thing I liked about the manager, what he done with the last international break, though, he had a chat with the Nigerian coach, didn't he, to say that, he's carrying a bit of a knock. Can he kind of miss the game?
Give him a break.
He did. So
the international managers don't always take that. But I think it's a good, if you can have a good relationship with the international coaches, and you can kind of get your point across and say, maybe just give him half or give him a game off. I think it's definitely helpful. But like, I like Romeo. See, I think Romeo is a good alternative for either fullback, really. Yeah. But I also quite like him when he plays in midfield. I wouldn't be against. I know we're out of the EFL Cup now, but like, I would have been quite interested to see Siopis and Romeo play together because I think
he's a good natural footballer.
They complement each other quite well. But then the combination of Rules and Siopis is working at the moment. And even though I'm quite a big fan of Wintle, but when he plays deep, I agree with you what you said in that we look knackered coming into that last international break. However, I also think that the dip in form coincided with the change in formation, so I don't want to flog a dead horse and say the same thing I've been saying. Yeah, but it made a difference because you had 3 defensive midfielders and you had no one to play through. Yeah. I don't think it's a coincidence that against Huddersfield he goes back to that 4-2-3-1 with Robinson. Robinson has a cracking game, but the overall effect on the team. No, I know. They must have been listening to me because it's what I've been banging on about for weeks, Smith. But it's like, I think all of the players, not just Robinson and this and that. Like, I think the whole team looks more comfortable when they play 4-2-3-1. They just all seem to know their roles, and even when the subs come on and they all move about a bit, they still all know what they got to do. When they went to that weird sort of flat 4-3-3, it became very disjointed. Like the fullbacks didn't seem to know whether they were supposed to push up, overlap, go in. The wingers were like, do we drop in to make it a 5, or do we stay high and wide? And there was no one then in that sort of number 10 to link it all up. It just was disjointed, tired. And I think now, when you look at it, like that change in formation, you can interchange pretty much that. Like you've got Wintle, Rules, and Siopis, who can all play in the 2, and then Romeo if you really need someone. And then you've got like Ramsey, Robinson, Colwell can all play 10. But then on the wings, you've got Bowler, who I think is cracking players. The first time I seen him up close was on the weekend, and I was very impressed by his work rate, his attitude, his movement off the ball. Like the amount of times he was open and high and wide, and they just didn't go for that switch ball. And then, like, if you remember when Siopis signed, that was one of the things when I done like a little scout report on him, was that one of the things that Siopis is really good at is changing from one side of the pitch to the other in one pass. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to quite get in the position to do that on Saturday. But like Bowler was so many times in the first half was just like open, and you could see a couple of times he sort of was shaking his head a little bit because he was like, "I'm here." But like what I was saying is, you got Bowler, you got Tanner, who always seems to make an impact. You got O'Dowda to come back, who I would argue is probably our best winger, but we haven't really seen him for weeks. But the good thing is, we're winning football matches without Aaron Ramsey. So whilst the team might be built around him tactically when he's there, it's not like when he's not there, we're like, oh no, we got nothing. Yeah. Like we just don't know what we're doing or whatnot. So I think that's a real plus, because when you've got a player who's too good for the Championship, even at his age, it's easy to kind of just build everything around him and just say, give him the ball and he'll do something. Yeah. So like, I think that's a real positive. I think Mate's looking better as well as the game's go on. He seems to be getting sharper.
He's strong.
He got fouled. That referee, mate. Let's talk about the referee. Someone tell me how that is not a back pass. Like,
cushion the ball.
He just side-footed it back to the keeper. And like, I have seen some angry fans in Cardiff over the years, going back to Ninian Park as well. Like, I've seen people be really annoyed at the ref and the game, and like the overall, everybody in the stadium was just like, could not believe that it wasn't given.
Even if the referee had missed it, you've got the linesman either end.
But you can't miss that.
They're all mic'd up nowadays, isn't they, as well? So
you can't miss that. He just side-footed it back to the keeper. Like,
you wait till next year when we're playing with the VAR, but
don't depress me now. Don't depress me. So they can't get nothing right either.
Question on formation then. So do you think now is blatantly obvious, even to
That I was right all along.
no,
Yes.
to to anyone that the formation that we've been using the last couple of weeks is obviously working. Do we think that he will still go back to the flat 4-3-3?
I think it's possible he might go back to it against if Ramsey's out. Like if we played Leicester, we played Leicester away, but like games like that,
Southamptons and stuff.
yeah,
like that.
away at home, he might do it to be solid. But I would argue that that 4-2-3-1 out of possession, you almost line up as like a 4-5-1 anyway, because the wingers drop in, the number 10 drops in, and only the striker really stays up
Yeah,
when you're out of possession. So I don't think, and look, I'm not a football manager. I'm just a kid. You're like kid, still a kid.
you
mate.
kidding?
Still young. Still mentally a kid. I'm a young man who's watched a lot of football over the years,
Yeah.
and talked to a lot of footballers,
Yeah.
and I think that 4-2-3-1 works better for everyone, not just the team. I just think it works better for the.
And again, like you said, it depends on the opposition.
It also depends on who you've got available. If you've got a load of injuries, you might be forced to play a more.
And that's
thing.
where we've been lucky to a certain extent that he haven't had to change the team up, because we haven't had that many serious injuries. We're saying about Caldwell not playing much and things like that. I know obviously Robinson's a bit of a step in front of him at the moment, but you've said about Romeo, and we can't change the back four at the moment. It's been so solid. So, I think we're blessed in a sense that, we've been able to keep everybody fit so far.
Yeah, that's good, mate. Well, the thing is, I think it's the back five, isn't it? Like the Amric has been superb, and it makes you wonder how the hell Allsop was getting in front of him.
Yeah, I was dubious last year. I can't remember the game that Allsop got sent off. But if I'm right, Allrick got sent off then the game straight after, I think, didn't he? And but I wasn't impressed with many of his performances last year. And it's got to be hard for a keeper being on the bench week in, week out, and not getting game time.
I got a theory though, mate, why Alnwick is better this year and under this manager is he's very good on the ball with his feet. For a championship keeper particularly, I think he's very good on the ball. He doesn't mind having it under pressure. And I think up until this manager, we've had managers who were probably just telling him to get rid of it as quick as possible and as far as possible, which I don't think suits him. And I think if you're telling a keeper, get rid, it kind of breeds like this thing of they don't really trust you. So like it almost breeds panic, It's like, so it's difficult, isn't it? Like it's just constant. It's just a problem. Like, and I think that's why Alnwick is suited more to it. So
I still would like him to get rid of it quicker sometimes, I think.
Makes you nervous, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Makes you just nervous when the keeper's got it at his feet and he's being pressed and that.
But again, he's been a different player this year. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And well, when you think, I think they signed Runnison with the idea that Runnison was going to be number one.
Yeah, really.
And
Absolutely
shown by the fact they dropped Alnwick straight away, didn't they, to bring Runnison in? And everyone was a bit like, don't know about that. But
Ipswich game now, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Runnison didn't do nothing wrong, but it was like I just think Alnwick's been outstanding.
Yeah.
So. Last question for you then, guys, before I bring in some people, let you have a little drink, is are Cardiff legitimately in a playoff race, do you reckon?
Well, we're here for the moment, so you've got to say yes.
Long way to go in there.
Yeah, and the thing with the Championship, on the day, anybody can beat anyone. It's probably one of the toughest leagues out there, I would say. With the Premiership, you've got the top 6 or top 8 normally run away with things, don't they? But I think with the Championship, anybody on the day can beat anyone. And I just think, being Cardiff fans, we want us to go on and do well. But I think we'd be in the mix come the end, fingers crossed.
What about you, Rob? You reckon they're legitimately in a playoff race, or would you just be happy to finish top 10 and...
Mate,
Don't fancy another relegation battle?
No, I mean, the thing is, like I think top 2, 3 is pretty much done. Not again, go back to my negativity. So all these guys, but like, but like, you can't see past Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich right now. Like, let's be real. However,
Ipswich looks quality, doesn't it? It'd be interesting to see how they do in the cup this
I'm
week.
just fucking buzzing not to be
Shit.
sniffing the bumhole of relegation come Christmas. Like,
He's a wordsmith.
do you know what I mean?
It's mad though, with the championship, you could have teams now going on a 2 or 3 game run, win 3 games, and before you know it, you're back down towards that.
Yeah, look at Borough. They were like bottom or whatever, weren't they? Bottom 2 and then 7 in a row.
You know, my Akron will weekend bastards.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Leslie, if you're watching. But no, I just, do you know what I mean? Like, it's enjoy the ride. It's enjoy the ride. Take it for what it is right now. And next season we're going up as champions. That's my ending.
That's your theory, is it?
Yep.
So I said, right, you guys go on, you guys jump out. Now I don't know what's falling over. So basically, Matt and Rob are going to shuffle out, and then we're going to bring in Dan from Cardiff Classic Shirts. You coming in? And Jeremy, mate, as well. Going to jump in. Go on, you can go. Come along, say hello. Oh, gosh. And thank you to Rob and Matthew.
The good-looking guys with beards just coming, don't they?
Super stuff. So Dan, first of all, I want you to talk us through the shirts behind us. So
I'll just take my glasses off.
So we've got this Black Hudson shirt for you.
Yeah, not a match one, but obviously a shirt that we won the championship in, didn't we? We sealed the championship victory in 2013 in that shirt. We've got the 2001 third shirt there, the green one.
Another Ken Thorne shirt, me.
Not many of those. Last season's third shirt signed by Callum Madowda, and one of the match one shirts from the Carabao Cup this year against either Birmingham or Blackburn away, which is the Andy Campbell one there. I actually got all of the shirts from those 3 games from the Cardiff and from the Carling Cup, Coca-Cola Cup, Rumble and Milk Cup. I got all of the shirts from those 3 games this season, so I have quite a lot of match ones to sell.
There's a question for you then. What's your favourite version of the League Cup? Like, what's your favourite name?
Do you know what, I think if I don't think about it, I'll either say Coca-Cola Cup or Carling Cup.
Yeah,
probably more Carling Cup, but only because it's more recent. Yeah, I can't pick a favourite. I'll probably go on Coca-Cola.
What about you, Jeremy? What's your favourite one? Carling Cup, Milk Cup?
Carling Cup, probably.
Yeah, I think was it Carling Cup which played, like, that was the one that was at the Millennium Stadium on it for a couple of years or whatever, when Michael Owen scored those goals. Oh, was it a Carling Cup then?
Well, no, that was the FA Cup, wasn't it? Yeah, we're talking League Cup now.
Yeah,
so,
I like Milk
the League Cup would have been the same, but I think at the time that would have been the Worthington's Cup.
Yeah, Worthington.
I think you're right. Well, yeah,
good shout, Will. Unfortunately, your opinion doesn't count because you refuse to come on camera. So, well done, Dan.
And I would have been right if you hadn't piped up.
Yeah, there we go. I'm a big fan of the Milk Cup because that's what it was when I was a kid.
But you're a lot older than us, so, you know.
I'm not as old as it.
What about the
Rumbelows Cup, wasn't it? Yeah, Rumbelows Cup.
I just about remember Rumbelows. Was it about 92, 91, 92 Rumbelows?
Yeah,
and Milk
so
was
like
maybe the one
90s.
before.
Yeah, Milk Cup was like 80s, wasn't it? And then Rumbelows, Worthington, Carling Cup.
There's probably people.
Still a Mickey Mouse Cup unless you do well in it.
There's probably people screaming. Like
It is.
there was anoraks screaming at their cameras now, telling us what order it was in for what years.
Yeah.
But we don't remember because we never really got that deep in it until 2011, 2012, and we got to the final.
It was so depressing. I can't even think about it. Like, do you know what? Like, let's talk about them just for a bit of fun. The Portsmouth FA Cup final. I went there and I was like, it was just, what a great day out this will be. FA Cup final. I never thought I was going to watch Cardiff in an FA Cup final. So I didn't really, I wasn't like, oh, if we lose this, I'm going to be devastated. It was more like, we're in the FA Cup final. But then on the other side, it was like also, we're playing Portsmouth. Like, we're not playing like Liverpool or United or whoever.
Yeah.
And then to lose the way we did was a bit painful. But nothing quite beats Ben Turner scoring in... was it like injury time or extra time or something right at the end.
It must have been a couple of minutes into the to the injury time of the 90 when Turner popped that away. Yeah,
I got shouted at by the steward. I did, because that was I was like still fresh on crutches and stuff after my car accident. So we used a wheelchair because we didn't know how far we had to go and stuff. But I could walk when I had my like crutches, and obviously Ben Turner scored, so I've sort of stood up, going nuts, and I was sat in like the wheelchair bit, and ended up on the steward's come across, and he was like, we doing? There you go. Yeah, Ben Turner, what a day that was! What a period that was.
Yeah. The FA Cup final was a bit of an anticlimax. Like you, I never thought I'd see Cardiff City in a FA Cup final. You watch it when you're a kid, and it's one of the most magical days of the football watching season, isn't it? Maybe only second to the FA Cup third round, where you're just watching all the results come in and going, I've never heard of that place. How have they beaten a place I haven't heard of? But we got to the FA Cup final, and the weather was a bit overcast, which was a disappointing day weather-wise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which I think took something out of the experience for me, because you always saw the FA Cup as a day when you've got beautiful sunshine. You walk down Wembley Way and you've got the arches there, and we sort of had that taken away from us. And then the actual football itself was also atrocious.
Yeah, it wasn't like one of them FA Cup finals where it was like end to end and all is super enjoyable and like, oh wow, what's going on? It was like dross, and yeah, it was just one of those things, wasn't it? Like the playoff finals, and my favourite will always be the Millennium Stadium one, which takes me nicely into Andy Campbell week, Friday night. Andy Campbell evening with. It's going to be amazing. There's still a couple of tickets left right here. Get your tickets there.
That's £5, isn't it?
Yeah, bargain.
Price of a pint. And you get to spend the evening with the Cardiff City legend chatting over what he did at the Millennium Stadium, just a few metres. That is a bargain.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll tell the story of getting hit in the pie by a pie in the face. When he scored a hat-trick. Oldham? Yeah. He obviously fell out with Dave Jones very publicly, which he's touched on in like the podcast that we used to do and stuff. He has touched on it a little bit, but like he's never really gone into like loads of detail about the interactions and stuff. So I'm quite interested to talk about that. But it's going to be good because it's going to be like, there's going to be sort of 45 minutes of me and Andy talking, and then it's going to be a little break, and then it's going to be as long as we want for people to ask questions, and then at the end they'll be able to have photos and stuff like that. Like for me, in my opinion, £5 is like just a bargain to do that. As a City fan, for me, like I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you could just jump in and just go and speak to these legends, because obviously I know what's coming up as well following Andy, but even so I think like Campbell is a good starting point for me.
I think if it was £20 a ticket, it would have sold out. £5 is almost suspiciously cheap.
Yeah,
people are expecting you to do more.
Well, this is weird though, right? Because like the reason why they're cheap is like because we didn't want Cardiff fans to think that we were trying to make like a quick buck from them. So like me and Dan from the pub, we were like, right, we don't want Cardiff fans to think we're just trying to like make a quick buck from them by making them really expensive. So it won't cover the costs of it. But like the whole point is we wanted to create special evenings where people can come along. It's not like 200 people in here and you're like sat at the back and you can't hear what's going on. It's like, it's in the 1927 lounge where we are now, and it's just going to be people, and we're going to chat, answer questions, and like people will get and it's not Andy is Friday, but there's another one coming up on the 1st of December. Rob, is that the not allowed to say, it hasn't been announced yet.
That was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, gotta keep going. But I got a list. I'm going with me. I got a list which is very, very long of lots of Cardiff City legends. Some of them a bit more recent. Some of them are from a long time ago. Some of them are very tall. Some of them are very short.
Some I don't even remember. It's before my time.
There you go. I say it. And I'm like, that was also the thing. Like, we wanted to get some like proper old school legends. So like let's use an example. I'll use this example because I haven't spoken to him about it, but I will. So I can use it as an example because it doesn't spoil anything. So Willie Boland got me and my missus together. So obviously I know Willie and he got us together. He is someone who next year I would like to get over and get on because I think he's a top bloke. He's a very, very good talker. He's very funny. And I think when people look back at his time playing for Cardiff, he's remembered super fondly. So it's like, that seems like a no-brainer to me. But he is one I haven't actually spoken to yet, which is weird because he's one that I know personally. Thanks. I don't know whether I owe him a thanks or a thanks. With gritted teeth. I'm not sure which one it is.
Being recorded.
Yeah, it's live. And she's probably watching. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's funny though. She said, "Oh, I'm going to come on Friday," and I was like, "Oh, okay,
Leave it.
you're better than that. Come on now, you're old man." No, well, she was like, she said, "I'm going to go to the Rummer Tavern on Friday." Yeah, well, this is it. I got 3 kids, mate, and I've had a snip and everything now, so I'm very well behaved. I'm far too old for that sort of thing. And but she's come in, and so I wasn't nervous about speaking in a room like this, which is full. Don't know why, I just wasn't. I wasn't nervous, and I was happy because I was doing it with Andy, who's my mate. And I was happy, like, doing it here and stuff like that, and I was looking forward to it. I used to doing podcasts on my own or with people, and that's all fine. And then she went, "Oh, I think I'm going to come on Friday." And I was just like, oh. And now I'm all apprehensive about it. And now, how the hell does that work? Like, but it's because, I'll tell you what it is. It's because she will give me an honest, like, opinion of it in detail. So it's like, if there's something wrong, she'll tell me, which I need. You know, you need that,
Yeah.
especially because we're going to run these nights.
There's lots coming up.
It's going to go well into next year. I will go until my list is done, and I mean, and I'm sure people can guess some of them. You know, it's not difficult. If you went on my channel, you can see plenty of Cardiff City footballers. So please do go on the channel and have a look. But yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to it. It's Andy Campbell week as far as I'm concerned. Friday's the first one. City Legends, #1. Get your tickets if you haven't got them already. I know there's some people in the comments saying they got their tickets, but there is a couple left. So get them in. So to finish off, we'll talk. Let's talk about the Huddersfield game a little bit. 4-0. You don't get many 4-0 victories in the Championship away from home anyway.
No. And we've been a club for a long time that hasn't won by more than the odd goal here and there. I mean, I can think of seasons and seasons and seasons that have gone by where we've not even... I think the year we got promoted in 2012, 2013, I don't think we scored 3 goals in a game.
That was the 2-1, 1-0 season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we scored 3 goals. And we won the league.
But you know what's interesting about that, right? And this, I say this all the time about like Jose Mourinho and people like that, is fans will put up with shit football and dross and direct and long ball stuff or whatever, boring football, if you're winning.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like with that side and DeMarco Mackay, it was very much, we're winning, we keep winning, just 1-0, 2-1, and we just ground it out. And it does create a togetherness because you are like, it's like 1-1 late winner, 0-0 late winner, whatever. And it brings the players, the fans, it brings everyone together because you're like grinding out these results.
I don't remember finding it ugly. Do you?
It wasn't pretty. It wasn't like
in the year we went up, it was effective. In the year we went up, it was.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. It's effective.
Perhaps we could have set about our business slightly differently while we were there. We probably set up too much the same way in the Premiership season.
Well, I think if you look at the Premier League now, like you look at Burnley, are trying to stick to their principles of playing pretty football. And like I asked the question, I think it was on the Rodri Gig show, wasn't it, last week, where I said, at what point does he say, right, look, we know we can play great football, but we want to stay up.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to be a bit more difficult to beat and just grind out results.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it doesn't seem like he's going to do that. And I think you've got to adapt. Like, I just don't think you can go up to the Premier League and expect to just do the same thing you did in the Championship and it'll work necessarily, unless you're like that Newcastle side who got like 100 points over the season, because they were pretty much a Premier League side anyway.
Yeah. There's been a handful of sides that have gone up and caught the Premier League unawares and survived the first season, but then they've sort of never really carried that luck out. I mean, you could argue that the one team further, just down the M4, were the ones who probably did it the best.
No.
They kept playing the same football they played in the Championship,
but you know what that was as well?
They survived 7-8 years doing it.
But I think, do you know what that came down to? Is as much as it was the football on the pitch.
You coming back?
Yeah, come on.
Come on, come back
in. And I think as much as it was their football on the pitch, it's the setup off the pitch. They had people in place in positions off the pitch and in the board and technical directors and whatever, and academy. The whole setup was all set up to play that way, to bring players in who are effective that way. So if they were signing players for the academy, they all played the same system. Or during that period, started by, I think it was Roberto Martinez's thing.
Yeah,
was they had from under 8s up to the first team all played the same way. So if you went for a trial with Swansea, you had to do the same things that the youth team were doing or whatever, and it was very much like that. And I think that's, if you look at the football clubs who are succeeding at the moment, that's what they do. Even look, you can all point.
That is the very definition of philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah, you point to Man City
throughout the club, not just for either the under-21s and the senior team, or just the senior team and the women's team.
It makes that transition so much easier for a younger player to come into the senior.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're ready to go.
And
it's a pathway. It's a pathway.
Yeah, exactly that. And then when you take it back, if you go all the way back round to Cardiff now, back with this 4-2-3-1, is whoever comes on at the moment looks like they know what their job is. Whereas for so many years, particularly I think in the sort of Neil Harris and Nick McCarthy, we might have been structured, but it did feel like the attacking players were very stifled, and it felt like the midfield players at times were just pointless because they were just there to stand in front of the defence when then it was just a long ball over the top. And it was very, what's the word? Very basic, very like dinosaur-like. And I think at the moment, it feels like at Cardiff City, everyone's pulling in the same direction, which is the first time in a very long time. I think you can say that the fans are happy, the board are happy, the manager's happy. There's people in place off the pitch who are doing a good job and doing the right things. And I think you have to embrace that, but you also have to not let it, it's not stagnate. It's where you used a good word, didn't it? Is you don't let it plateau. Just because we're doing well now, we shouldn't just be happy with that. So if he needs more players in January, then give him to him. I'm not saying, but I did say I think it's important we spend sensibly, because I got a feeling, it's a bad feeling at the back of my mind that we're going to be like who was it? Like the Man City when they first got money, and it's like, oh, we haven't been able to spend for like 2 years or whatever it is, and it's just going to be like, oh, we want Kiefer more, and Bournemouth go, oh yeah, you can have him for like 3 million, and we'll go, no, it's all right, have 7, and just do you know what I mean? I know that's not realistic, but I mean in terms of we don't need to just go bananas because we can now spend money.
I think more important than that, without just spending money for the sake of spending money, is that there's a better mindset around the club at literally every single level this season. At boardroom level, where the players are in regards to each other. Mentally, they seem to have a great sense of togetherness, and I think what's most important, if we're looking at recruitment in January, is not bringing in maybe a big name or two that would disrupt that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, look at just keeping that sense of togetherness that we've already got, and is being cultured well by the manager and his his staff and focus on that being the most important thing, rather than bring in a big name who, maybe we could bring in a striker. This isn't a veiled attack on Kiefer Moore at all. I'd love to see Kiefer Moore back at the club. But if we were to bring in a big name who could potentially maybe score 15 goals between January and May, or could disrupt what we've already got, which is it's a really good thing.
Yeah, I think the one problem is that you've got to weigh it up, haven't you? It's like they got to have the right personality, but they've also got to have something which there's no point in bringing in another striker who's all right, because I think that's part of our problem with that position at the moment is we've got 3 strikers in Mate, Atete, and Ugbo. They're all right. There's not one of them where you're going, he's my man. It's more like Mate does really well, works hard, holds the ball up well, doesn't quite finish that great at the moment. I think he will if he gets a goal. I do think he just needs a goal. Same with Carl and Grant. I think he needs a goal. And I thought he had scored on Saturday, actually, when he hit that volley from the cross in the first half and the keeper got down to it. But he looks like someone who's desperate for a goal. But Atete, just as he came into form, gets injured, and it's like, but none of them really stand out. I'm not convinced by Ugbo at all, I gotta say. Like, what do you think, Rob, about those 3 strikers? Like, which one would you pick? If you were picking a side now for Saturday, which striker would you go for?
Oh, such a good point, guys. Like, I think it's hard to stay away from Mayday because he does the shitty work that no striker wants to do. And whenever I watch Ugbo, I think for the size he is, he's all fat, no poo. Like, I think he should be doing a damn sight better based on his physique and things like that and what he's actually doing. And I agree. Like,
Stoke
it's so easy to go, right, we got this dollar, right, let's go get X, Y, and Z. And the thing with Kiefer is he knows the philosophy, he knows the club, but
has the philosophy changed since Kiefer Moore was? I think it's changed 100%.
Yeah, it's massively different.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It is a very, very, very different club now to what he was when he was in 2 years ago.
But remember, that's a club that he wanted to leave. You know, would he feel more comfortable coming back into this environment?
I've got all the confidence in the world that the manager will bring in the people that he thinks is right for the football club. I don't think, from listening to some of his interviews and what players have said, he demands everybody put in 100%, whether that's in training or in games. And I think that's why he's got the confidence of the players.
Yeah, I think they definitely believe what he's doing, don't they? You can see they trust him at the moment. Like, that can change quickly as well, mind. But I think at the moment the players trust the manager, which is so important.
He speaks really open, and he's not one of these managers we've had in the past who goes on about mentality all the time. But, he talks open and honest, and he's not afraid to tell players that they need to work harder in certain positions.
What I like about him as well is he's clear in that he doesn't make veiled criticisms or half sort of imply that someone's not doing something or
no one's left wondering.
Yeah, look. And he does not just say, he didn't just say it in the media. He'll go and speak to the player and he'll explain it. And I look at Atete where did he score that volley? Was it in the Swansea game? No, it was game after that. So when Atete scored the first of his 3 goals, the one which he volleys across the goal, pre that game, I criticised him a lot on one of the shows. I thought his attitude was bad. I thought he was weak.
I don't think you're the only person who did, though, mate.
No, I know. But to me, I think somebody has had a word with him. Someone has said to him, either you need to work harder, you need to do more, or you need to, or maybe they just said, look, your body language is a bit shit, mate.
I think Errol was honest about that, wasn't he? Didn't he say, we've had this conversation, and then he's kicked on from there, and you can only give people credit for what they've done after they've been told what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
If Robinson's gone and scored last week, then Colwell's gone and scored this week. And
something's working there, isn't it? Within the management.
We could argue that wasn't what Errol was saying was wrong with their game. He never said they weren't a goal scoring threat. He said they weren't doing enough tracking back. But they've got to earn a place in the team.
Yeah, you got to take your opportunities when you get them, and I think both, to as much as they probably could have in the situations that they were in, like the Huddersfield game, Robinson was excellent, created and scored, worked hard, did a lot for the team, did a lot himself on the ball, and then I think Caldwell had half an hour. He worked hard. All right, positionally maybe he was a bit off. But you also don't know what the manager's told him to do. He might have said, "Don't play as a number 10." He might have said, because he said at some points Ruben seemed to be further forward than Ugbo with the press. And at the time I was thinking that's weird, because normally it's the striker which is the trigger, and then the 10 and the wingers will go. But maybe that was his job, like because he's fresh and he's young, and he's saying, right, you go and do the press and let the others go after you. You never know. But I guess my point is that at the moment the manager's messages to the players, whether in the media or privately, seem to be getting the job done. Or I can't think of a player who has kind of had a bit of criticism and hasn't then kicked on from it. I'm trying to think if there's been any. Can't really think of any.
I imagine if Simpson they've probably left the club.
Simpson.
So does Caldwell stop you next week?
Stoke away, no chance.
If so, who's he replacing?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure that he does. And I think for him and Tanner at the moment, the best place for them is coming off the bench.
Yeah, I think they're both capable of doing something off the bench.
The pace and the impetus that both of them bring to games. And I know people will say, well, you're going back on what you said before, because I have said before Caldwell should be starting. But
that's why I asked you.
I wouldn't be
gutted if he started, though.
No, I wouldn't be disappointed.
Would you
I think the impact that they bring coming off the bench is I think that's more than they bring from starting.
Yeah, so if you look at it like this, right, I think Caldwell offers more from the bench than what Robinson does sometimes. Sometimes Robinson's a bit hit and miss off the bench.
Yeah.
He does seem to do better when he starts, whereas Caldwell, I think, has shown that he can do it from the start, but he can also come off the bench at times and have an impact. But to me, if the manager rewarded Caldwell with a start for his goal, his impact, whatever you want to say, for his work this week, and he said, right, Robinson's going to play off the left, or he's going to go back to the bench or whatever, and Caldwell's going to start, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, what is he doing? I'd be like, right, Ruben's got to step up and he's got to take that opportunity like Robinson did. But it's difficult. When you look at that front four positions, they all have probably got an argument to play. I think, if you look at the left, you've got Carlin Grant. All right, his goal's not quite come in, but he works his nuts off every game. He works so hard, and he does cause problems for defenders. Obviously, O'Dowd is injured at the moment. Hopefully, he'll be back soon. But he'd be definitely in with a shout to start. Then you've got Bowler, I think, is doing very well. You've got Tanner's doing really well every time he gets an opportunity. So they've all got arguments to play. Mate, Atete is obviously injured. I think Ugbo is probably the only one at the moment who could not put his hand up and say, why aren't I starting?
Well, look, we do need all of these players.
Of course, yeah.
If you look at, I don't know if it feels like this every season, but for me, maybe I'm just getting older, but it feels like we've been on a fucking massive away trip every 10 days this season. I'm knackered and I'm just watching it. Yeah, we're going to Stoke Saturday now, aren't we? I can't help but feel like we've had a lot of our difficult fixtures and a lot of our travelling in the first end of the season and the back end of the season. If we were to put something together and just go on a little run, we'd be looking really dangerous.
Yeah, and that could play into it, though. If we are in the mix for the playoffs, having run at home games.
These boys are tired now, and I get that. I get that. So I am just from watching them. But I feel like we've got a lot of our road miles out of the way and a lot of our difficult away games out of the way. I think if we got a little run of form, we've got nothing to fear by going to the Liberty away or going to Ashton Gate away. We've done the hard work now. We've won it in our own place, so we're not going there with any fear. We're going to these places going, we've got the measure of these We've got to measure these teams.
100%.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point.
Who do you think is going to win the championship this year? Leicester?
Yeah, for me it's Leicester. It's Leicester and it's Ipswich in second.
I think Ipswich. Out of all the teams we've played this year, Ipswich is the one I was the most impressed with.
See,
Because I thought we could have beaten Leicester with a bit more. If Mate takes that chance, I think there's a good chance we hold on. Like their winner was very scrappy and was caused by us kind of dropping deep and getting nervous. And
we were only leading in the first place.
Yeah.
We were 1 in a million shots.
yeah, this is very true. But I just thought they didn't, like, it wasn't like chance after chance after chance after chance. It was kind of like bit of a drab game. I thought it was pretty good. I just
I
Ipswich.
think the teams that come down from the Premier League, it always takes them like 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
to get
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
into it. So I think I know we lost the game, but when you're going to play the teams that come down, playing them probably at the beginning of the
It's better, isn't it?
probably better.
Yeah, 100%. Because you got to remember, a lot of those teams.
a lot.
Yeah, we get very
Crucial.
just
Yeah. Well, in Leeds' case, obviously, threw away a 2-goal lead.
Yeah. But I think the
As we
season
did it.
before, Norwich come down and we played them at home.
first game of the season.
And we won 1-0, didn't we?
Yeah,
So,
first game of the season, I was.
It takes time for some of these teams to get reacclimatized, I think, to the championship, doesn't it? Like, for me, I just think Ipswich have been superb, and I think,
Do you not think they're going to fall off?
no, I mean, I really rate they got a good squad. I really rate their manager as well. Kieran McKenna, he's a top manager, and I think he's one who I expect will go on and become like a Premier League, maybe even Champions League manager. He's
For me, those
he's
two
on next show, guys. Yeah,
Stay tuned.
proper. He's like,
Lamucci back at QPR, they reckon, as well, today.
really wouldn't be surprised, mate.
Well, it definitely looks like his next Cardiff manager going there, whether it's Warnock or Lamucci, doesn't it?
Surely Warnock's done now, isn't he?
Nah, Sean Morrison is.
No, I reckon Lamucci will go there, but they've lost 5 on the bounce, QPR, and I think they've been pants. Like Sheffield Wednesday, like at the start of the season, I said I want them to go down because of the way they treated Darren Moore and stuff, and it was kind of funny. And now it's almost boring now, like because
I feel sorry.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even say I feel sorry for them. I just like they've taken the fun out of it.
Oh, Jesus.
Because they're so bad. But the worst team I think we played this year is Rotherham. I was just like, I couldn't believe how bad they were. And I felt like I went to that with my boy and like we were just watching and we were like, God, if we really got at them and attacked them, we could have won comfortably. Like, I know we won 2-0 in the end or whatever it was, but I felt like if we'd just gone at them, they would have fallen apart. I just thought they were really poor. But, you know, it's such as life, isn't it? You never know. It's different. Championship is such a weird league. Like, if you told me that Middlesbrough were going to lose on Saturday, that's one which was almost like a banker, you know? Like,
Yeah, clubs can go from nowhere in the championship to winning the fucking thing. Like, teams like Luton that you're looking at as relegation fodder, and then are getting promoted. And then the other way, you've got teams who are thinking that's a banker. That's an absolute banker for going up, and they find themselves in League One.
the thing with it, so Cardiff got Stoke away, and Stoke are going to be confident. They just beat Middlesbrough. But my thing with Stoke is the same as it's been for the last couple of years. You just don't know what version of them is going to turn up. No, they've just been all over the place, and I just wonder if we might catch them. But it'll happen.
It's almost a game, Stoke, isn't it? Where you go, we'll take a point away. Yeah, we'll take a point away.
Safe bet, Nick.
Yeah, you never really go there going, we're going to get beat, and you never really go there going, it's a guarantee of 3 points.
Yeah. They're going to be super confident because they've just gone to Middlesbrough and won 2-0. However, I believe that I was just trying to look to see what their like home and away form weighs up. But like, I'd be willing to bet that Stoke City's away form is where all their points have come this year, because I think that they feel the pressure at home from their fans. And much like I said about Blackburn the other week, is if you can get an early goal against teams like that, where the fans are already a bit feisty and a bit frustrated, like an early goal can really unsettle the team. So they did that. They beat Leeds at home. They beat Sunderland at home. So I'm talking bollocks. But they also lost to Southampton at home. Look, it's going to be a very, very difficult game. And I think if you asked most of us, I think we'd all take a point now and be just done with that and be happy.
I'd go hat-trick incoming.
I'd take a point if I didn't have to get the train to Stoke on Saturday morning, yes.
Yeah, you want 3 points because you've got to travel up there.
You go up?
What time do you have to leave?
I go about 9 on the train.
You stay up there?
No, they're back in one day.
Fantastic.
I got home from the shop on Sunday, so
That sounds
It's
really
not bad. It's quite a short one, isn't it?
Couple of hours, isn't it?
Not bad.
yeah, I was racist the last few weeks. Yeah, it's an absolute double.
One of the boys from Wallace football team, his grandmother went up to Huddersfield. She said she'd go back in the house at 20 to 4 in the morning.
Oh, God, that's brutal, that is. What's the longest
That
trip?
says more about her than it does Cardiff City.
Yeah. What's the longest trip in the Championship this year then, for us?
Maybe Sunderland, wouldn't it?
Sunderland?
Yeah.
It's just having a look
Yeah,
down.
they're cool, man.
Sunderland,
We've
Middlesbrough.
already been to Middlesbrough. We've been to Blackburn. We're going to Stoke.
Huddersfield.
Yeah, Huddersfield's a
Jesus.
track as well, isn't it? Preston.
A bit of Leeds.
Warren. Oof, on a school night.
Bro.
Brutal. Give me, just to finish us off then, Stoke away Saturday. Tell me, right, so I think we all agree that Alnwick would be in goal. Collins left back, NG, Gutas, and McGuinness. Yeah, anyone disagree with that as the starting back five?
No.
So then are we saying Siopis and Rawls
Yeah.
or Wintle?
Rawls probably again.
I don't think I'd change many.
I can't see any changes. No.
Okay, so then you go Robinson in the 10.
It's one of the rare occasions when we've actually got a week between matches. So I don't think there's any reason to look at changing things up that's working or looking at resting people.
Yeah, see how Bowler come through at the weekend, because I know he had a couple of knocks at Huddersfield, and he, like you said, with a week
To recover. Yeah, I think you've got that time, haven't you? And then also you've got Tanner who could come in as well. And this is the thing, we've got a bit of, like, the balance in the squad is very good at the moment, isn't it?
Thing, yeah.
Yeah, for a while.
No reason to change the starting lineup when we can go up there and keep it tight for 60 minutes and then introduce people
And
like
leash.
Tanner and go, well, just maybe sneak another one of those wins like we did up at Sunderland's.
I find it really mad, really, how different a player can be from like starting a game to coming off the bench. The impact they can have in the game is incredible, like you said with Tanner earlier.
It's nothing new. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'm sure he didn't invent it, but I
Made a career on it.
I was 10 years old when Solskjaer signed for Man United, and he was only good off the bench. That's where
He was poor when he started. I was just saying that he's poor. He wasn't as good off the bench. He wasn't as good starting as he was off the bench. But then it's interesting, isn't it, right? Because I agree with you. If we could keep Stoke to 0-0, 1-1 with 65, 70 minutes gone on Saturday, and then you can bring on Tanner on one wing, you could bring Colwell on.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're going to got a bit of pace and strength, which could cause real issues.
Yeah.
And then you put Wintle on, say you start with Rawls, you put Wintle on, and suddenly Wintle and Siopis will not give the Stoke players any peace, even at 70 minutes. And that's when you can, win a ball in their own half or on the halfway line, and suddenly you release Colwell or Tanner or whoever on the break. And I think that's when you can really do damage to teams because they're knackered. Siopis just doesn't tire and just keeps going and going. And bringing Wintle on as well can cause lots of issues. I'm really impressed with how he's been able to build such a balanced squad in a very short space of time, because I don't think it's easy to do. Yeah, you've got to bring in a load of players on loan and frees and stuff, not just getting the numbers you need, but getting the right balance. Because we were short at one point, before he came in, it was like, Jesus Christ, we've only got a very small amount of players, and they haven't been very good for the last couple of years. But he's did a very good job. Very impressed so far. Right, as we wrap up the second episode of the Cardiff City Fan Show, big shout out to Matt and Dan and Rob and Jeremy for all appearing on tonight's show. I appreciate it as always, and of course Will for parking my car. And it's always a pleasure. Please do come join us next Monday in the Rummer Tavern. Come on down, have your say, have a little drink, talk some Cardiff City. We'll talk about the Stoke game. It's Andy Campbell week as well, so get your tickets.
If they're nervous about speaking on Monday, then just come down and watch on Friday. Watch Andy Campbell and you do your thing.
There you go. See, he knows what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
there it is. There's the
He
QR.
knows what he's talking
You know,
about.
learn from that, and then you'll be less scared of a Monday, won't you?
That's it, mate. And then, look, at the end of the day, we're basically sat in a pub talking about football. It's not like just yeah, indeed.
That's a
On this note,
That's a Monday.
The flower. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure as always. Please do join us next Monday for the fan show, and of course we'll be back on. I'll be back on Thursday for the rugby gigs and football, and we maybe be back on Wednesday for the Cardiff City Weekly. You'll have to bear with me on that one because it's a bit overkill, isn't it? Cardiff every day. Live my life. Andy Campbell week. See you Friday. Make sure you're there.